As a constitutional law attorney, Jenna Ellis believes in the rule of law and the importance of integrity in our elections. And she's ready to tackle the big cultural and legal issues facing America. This is the Jenna Ellis Show. Here is your host, Jenna Ellis.
Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode of the Jenna Ellis Show. I'm Jenna Ellis, and I got a really excellent comment from Matthew in Virginia, and I want to read this morning because it's so well said. So Matthew says, "Good morning, Jenna. I was listening to your broadcast this morning," this was yesterday, "following the bellwether election here in Virginia as well as Kentucky, etc. While I agree with your sentiment that Ron DeSantis is the best candidate within the Republican field, I have to say that our defeat was not a referendum on MAGA, but rather a referendum on morality. The primary issue that the Democrats used against conservatives was abortion and gay rights. Consequently, this was not a rejection of the Trump MAGA agenda economics per se. As with the 2012 and 2020 elections, this victory for the Democrats had to include a significant portion of the quote-unquote church that continues to vote left. The crisis of morality within society is a reflection of the larger issue within the church. Expository teaching is absent within many conservative churches, including evangelical churches. People do not have a clear biblical worldview regarding the matters of abortion, pornography, and homosexuality. As a result, they see the issue as government overreach and political freedom rather than a crisis of morality. People need to clearly understand that our Constitution was not conceived by our founding fathers as a license for immorality. Every society needs moral boundaries, and the Bible is the foundation for those boundaries within Western society. Government was conceived by God as the institution to implement and maintain those boundaries based on his nature and character. Until pastors return to expository preaching and teaching, we will have many young, immature believers voting in favor of progressive policies contrary to a biblical worldview. As for DeSantis, his platform and agenda are virtually identical to Donald Trump's. He may not use the word MAGA, but it still includes the same conservative approach to abortion as proposed by Glenn Youngkin and the Virginia Republican platform. Our society has repeatedly demonstrated a desire to preserve their license for immorality, license over economic stability. I do not believe the conservative/Republican agenda can win in November 2024 unless we drop abortion from our platform. If that ever happens, we will lose the evangelical conservative vote, and rightfully so. Politically, we face a lose-lose proposition going into 2024. One thing is very clear from a biblical standpoint, and that is that we know that things must go from bad to worse before the appearance of our Lord. I grieve over the state of our society reflected by these political losses, yet I see that we live in a time of prophetic fulfillment. All of this is indicative of the fact that the time of the end is drawing very near. I think it is time to shift our focus away from political solutions. I'm not saying we should give up the good fight, but start pointing out to our friends and neighbors the signs of the times while we still have time to speak truth freely with boldness. I think I could not have said that better. And Matthew from Virginia, thank you so much for that email. And I think that this just further demonstrates how we as Christians have to continue to be active in culture and the church, because politics is downstream from that. And one of the candidates last night, well, we still have to engage in politics, that I think very clearly demonstrated the cultural and worldview problems, I think best, and who I think won the debate, was Vivek Ramaswamy, because he specifically highlighted and has consistently pointed out the problems implicit within the Republican Party, but also in the culture with ESG, with all of the CRT, with all of these things that are cultural issues that are now infiltrating politics. And this though, to me, was the moment. If you missed the debate last night, this was the moment that Vivek actually spoke truth to power that was sitting right there in the room. This is cut one.
The former president.
I think there's something deeper going on in the Republican Party here, and I am upset about what happened last night. We've become a party of losers at the end of the day. It was a cancer in the Republican establishment. Let's speak the truth. I mean, since Ronna McDaniel took over as chairwoman of the RNC in 2017, we have lost 2018, 2020, 2022, no red wave that never came. We got trounced last night in 2023. And I think that we have to have accountability in our party. For that matter, Ron, if you want to come on stage tonight, you want to look the GOP voters in the eye and tell them you resign, I will yield my time to you. And frankly, look, the people there cheering for losing in the Republican Party. Think about who's moderating this debate. This should be Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan, and Elon Musk. We'd have 10 times the viewership, asking questions that GOP primary voters actually care about and bringing more people into our party. Do you think the Democrats, and we've got Kristen Welker here, do you think the Democrats would actually hire Greg Gutfeld to host a Democratic debate? They wouldn't do it. And so the fact of the matter is, Kristen, I'm going to use this time because this is actually about you in the media and the corrupt media establishment. Ask you, the Trump-Russia collusion hoax that you pushed on this network for years, was that real or was that Hillary Clinton made up disinformation? Answer the question. Go.
Mr. Ross.
Sorry. This is how we get our country back. We need accountability.
Mike drop. And the debate, as far as I was concerned, was done after that moment. That was just absolutely fantastic. So well said. So I want to bring back on Stefan Mychajliw, who is the Deputy Communications Director for Vivek Ramaswamy. And Stefan, I got to say, you didn't even prepare us for how great Vivek would do on the stage. I mean, you amped him yesterday, but this was just the perfect moment of speaking truth to power. What has been the reaction to this comment and overall the debate performance?
With you, it was like a Mike Tyson fight in his early heyday where you just knew in 60 seconds he landed a punch, it was over, and boom, he had won. And that's exactly how we felt about Vivek Ramaswamy. The first 60 seconds in, and that clip you just played, we thought, okay, he spoke the truth. He spoke the truth about the Republican Party, the fake news media. We can end the debate right now if Vivek won. But what's beautiful about him is that he speaks the truth unvarnished, and there's no talking points, there's no consultants. He speaks from the heart, and he speaks exactly what we think. He has the guts and the heart to verbalize and say exactly what we're feeling inside. And those individuals are right there, and he spoke the truth to them. And to chat, Jenna, about the email that you shared, Vivek Ramaswamy says all the time that, especially the youth of America, they are hungry for a cause. They're lost. They're hungry for a purpose. And instead of turning to faith, God, religion, family, they're turning to the climate cult, the abortion cult, the COVID cult. And that's why Vivek Ramaswamy is running for president, to give our nation a purpose and to lead a national revival so that our youth are not lost in the desert, and that we have a political leader who people look up to and say, yeah, he's the president, and going to our children, that's someone you can look up to. And the debate performance was, you had other career politicians taking their best shots at Vivek Ramaswamy, and he wiped the floor with the Republican establishment, the media, and career politicians.
So has there been any fallout or, kind of love lost between Vivek's campaign and the RNC with that comment about Ronna McDaniel? I mean, I was so cheering him on. Everybody knows I am not a fan at all of Ronna. And guess who installed her? I mean, Donald Trump. And so if Vivek had even mentioned that, I think that would have even been a bigger explosion of mic drop moment. But has there been any comments between Vivek and Ronna since last night?
Well, there were certainly some heated words after the debate, and it was caught on camera by NBC News following it, but good. But and tell them what they need to hear, not what they want to hear. And he's doing that whether it's the establishment Rhino Republicans, the media, or career politicians. But, Jenna, this started with the RNC many weeks ago.
And I think we're
open discourse.
Go ahead, Stefan. We lost you for a couple of seconds, so go ahead and repeat your answer there.
Okay, if you can hear me now, I was on the plane. Jenna, are you there?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the fight was where I was on the plane with Vivek Ramaswamy flying to Washington, D.C., where he was supposed to debate Chris Christie live on Fox News, and we get a message from the RNC saying, if you go on Fox News and debate Chris Christie, you are not going to be allowed on the third presidential debate stage. And that was just wrong. People need to hear open debate. And so that just boiled over into the third debate, and there was massive losses in the Republican Party. And Vivek is always going to speak the truth, whether it's about establishment rhinos, the media, or career politicians. So good for him. He said exactly what the American people were thinking, and he just wiped the floor with everybody in the debate.
Yeah, and I think that this harkens back to why then candidate outsider Donald Trump resonated with so many people across the country in 2016, because he was saying what everybody was feeling. And I personally don't think that Trump is now as effective or saying anything really that a lot of people are thinking, because he has so many friends now in DC and, some other things that are going on. And it seems like, more that it's focused on him instead of the American people. I think that Vivek truly is America First 2.0 in that sense, that he is as running as the outsider, and he is the one instead of Donald Trump, and instead of so the other candidates. As much as I'm a huge fan and supporter of Governor DeSantis, I was so disappointed, frankly, to see a lot of these same talking points that are scripted lines. That I've heard him in other interviews say the same thing, and I'm thinking, this is scripted. Why aren't you just answering the question? And Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, they're very smart people. They can just speak off the cuff. And I think that Vivek just clearly did that so well. But he is speaking what people want to hear, and they want to see that accountability and that confrontation, like what happened last night. And Kristen Welker, of course, now it's kind of this viral meme of her expression after being asked directly about her comments on the whole Russia collusion hoax, and she didn't respond. And so, has there been any comment from NBC suggesting, that Vivek isn't welcome on the air anymore? Are they just going to ignore it, or where do we expect this to go?
Well, we'll see what happens on Saturday Night Live if they take a torch to Vivek Ramaswamy. I certainly hope they do. But he has a fresh set of legs. You can only be an outsider once. And Donald Trump was that outsider in 2016, and Vivek is the only outsider in the race right now, where you have other career politicians, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, warmongers who want to put our sons and daughters to war and die in the field of battle to line their own pockets. And Vivek says, absolutely not. We're not going to do that. We are going to put America first and not put our troops in danger. And he doesn't need the paycheck, that's for sure. And I think that's the difference with Vivek Ramaswamy and the entire field, including Donald Trump. That, yes, Vivek is a business owner and political outsider. He speaks from the heart. There's no script. There's no teleprompter. There's no consultant sitting with Vivek. I'm telling you, I spent a lot of time with him at campaign headquarters or on the road with him. No one tells him what to say. And Jenna, you're right. You heard a lot of canned responses from career politicians because that's what they do. Everything that Vivek talked about on that stage last night, putting America first, keeping us out of war, reducing the debt, curbing inflation, those are his values. No one's telling him what to say, and I think that's why he's resonating with the American people.
Yeah, and he was also the only one to specifically call out Ukraine for not acting like a democracy. Nikki Haley was suggesting that, this is our ally, because of NATO, and we need to just affirm anything that they want to do in their sovereignty. And he had a really great response on Ukraine. Let's actually play this real quick. This is cut 7.
I'm actually enjoying watching the Ukraine hawks quietly, delicately tiptoe back from their position as this thing has unwound into a disaster. The first half of this race, I was the only person standing for it. Now they're actually quietly coming around to being more cautious, as they should. Level with the American people here. Ukraine is not a paragon of democracy. This is a country that has banned 11 opposition parties. It has consolidated all media into one state TV media arm. That's not democratic. It has threatened not to hold elections this year unless the U.S. forks over more money. That is not democratic. It has celebrated a Nazi in its ranks, the comedian in cargo pants, a man called Zelensky, doing it in their own ranks. That is not democratic. More facts for you that you won't hear from the mainstream in either party or the mainstream media. The regions of Ukraine that are occupied by Russia right now in the Donbass, Luhansk, Donetsk, These are Russian-speaking regions that have not even been part of Ukraine since 2014, that other people probably couldn't name those provinces for you. Those are the hard facts. And so to frame this as some kind of battle between good versus evil, don't buy it.
And I think that was so brilliantly said, because nobody really is talking about how Zelensky is just saying, this isn't really time to have an election. I mean, can you imagine a sitting American president suggesting that? That's not at all a democracy. And it's like, Stefan, we have this notion in American politics that everything is black and white, when really there is so much gray and it's so much more nuanced than this. And I thought his response there was absolutely perfect. So in just the last 2 minutes I have with you, your response to that and how he just cuts through all of the, I think, the BS on both sides.
It's exactly what the American people are thinking. They're thinking about the trillions of dollars and the horrific lives lost in Iraq and Afghanistan. And is America better off? No, the Taliban is in charge in Afghanistan. We lost American lives and trillions upon trillions of dollars spent fighting wars overseas. Look at China. China is America's biggest enemy. Vivek Ramaswamy talks about the fact that we should never be reliant on our biggest enemy for the shoes on our feet or the phones in our pocket. But yet, with Joe Biden and other Republican warmongers focused on marching us into war in the Middle East, that does not serve America's interests. We need to focus on China, our biggest enemy. And look, I think Vivek hit the nail on the head talking about Social Security. Why are we talking about the fact that it's going to go bankrupt, that inflation is high, that government spending is out of control? If America didn't spend the trillions of dollars on all these foreign wars that killed Americans but lined the pockets of people like Nikki Haley and Dick Cheney, then we wouldn't be where we are today. And that's why it was such a distinct difference. And yeah, that came from the heart. Vivek Ramaswamy saying that Nikki Haley was basically Dick Cheney just wearing 3-inch heels. That was a great punch, but it was so true about the fact that Vivek Ramaswamy is the only person who's not going to lead us into war. That not only saves American lives, but it also means that money spent on useless foreign wars in the Middle East will be spent on America, securing our border, lowering the debt, and curbing inflation. Well,
he did such a great job. And Stefan, really appreciate you joining us 2 days in a row. Congrats to Vivek on an excellent debate last night. And we'll look forward to having him and you on again soon. And we'll be right back with more debate analysis right here on Jenna Ellis in the Morning. With inflation, the banking world collapse, and everything that Joe Biden is doing not to protect America, you need to make sure to secure your financial health, especially in retirement. And hey, if you're a millennial like me, that actually is sooner than you think. You need to start now, even if you are a millennial or a Gen Zer, to make sure that your financial health is actually healthy when we get to retirement. And Legacy Precious Metals has a revolutionary new online platform that allows you to invest in gold and silver online in real time. In a few easy steps, you can open an account online, select your metals of choice, and choose to have them stored in a vault or shipped right to your door. You'll have access to a dashboard where you can track your portfolio growth in real time anytime. You'll see transparent pricing on each coin and bar, and this puts you in complete control of your money. The platform is free to sign up for. Visit legacypminvestments.com and open your account and see this new investing platform for yourself. Gold hedges against inflation and against a volatile stock market. A truly diversified portfolio isn't just more stocks and bonds, but different asset classes. This brand new platform allows you to make investments in gold and silver, no matter how small or large, with just a few clicks. Visit legacypm.com to get started. You can download the free investor's guide, and you can also call Legacy PM Investments to talk to a portfolio expert to get expert answers to your to customize your personal portfolio. So visit legacypminvestments.com to get started. Tell them that Jenna sent you. Welcome back, and we are speaking about speaking truth to power and the outflow of the third GOP debate last night. And of course, former President Trump did not participate in that debate like he didn't the prior to. He held a rally in Florida, actually, and Governor Sarah Sanders of Arkansas, formerly his press secretary, also spoke from that stage and gave him her endorsement, which I think is significant, just as the endorsement from Kim Reynolds in Iowa is perhaps even more significant just in terms of Iowa and its placement in terms of the primary and being the first up state comparatively with Arkansas. But all of these things still matter. But joining me to discuss the debate and more is our good friend Tho Bishop, who is the content director at the Mises Institute. And Tho, I wanted to get your perspective first and foremost. Well, first, who did you think overall won the debate last night?
Well, I think Vivek really stood out, echoing the sentiments of the other side of the break. I thought that his lines, particularly on foreign policy, very clearly separated him from the rest of the pack. I know Governor DeSantis, when it comes to Ukraine, is probably closer to Vivek's line. But I thought he made some very strong, powerful critiques about the foreign policy the last 20 years or so that have fueled so many of our problems. But I think just as important as that, I think the biggest applause line where I was watching was when he took Ronna McDaniel to task for the inadequacies of the RNC, highlighting how, allowing NBC to host the debate in the first place. So I thought the moderators did a relatively good job. And I think a lot of Republicans are looking for accountability from the party nationally. And so I think that attack line from the very beginning was a sort of strength as well. I think that's a sort of hunger that a lot of frustrated Republicans, particularly after Tuesday, are looking for.
Yeah, really well said. And I think that was definitely the mic drop moment. And in fact, on my X/Twitter, I posted that clip, and and this was just a few minutes into the debate, and I said, okay, Vivek wins, because you're not going to get a better mic drop moment than that with Ronna McDaniel and the NBC moderators on NBC to speak truth to power like that. I thought it was fantastic. But in terms of, a couple of the other candidates, I wanted to play this clip from Governor DeSantis on student visas and civil rights violations, because one of the questions that was, what I thought particularly good, and DeSantis had a very good response, was talking about students on college campuses who are not just pro-Palestine and the innocence there, but actually pro-Hamas and pro-terror, and that he has actually taken action as governor on student visas and discussing this. This is cut 4.
I was the first presidential candidate to say, if you are here on a student visa as a foreign national, you're making common cause with Hamas, I'm canceling your visa and I'm sending you home. No questions asked. Second, I have friends here in Florida who their kids do not feel safe even going to university campus at all outside of the state of Florida. You have Jewish students fleeing for their lives at Cooper Union. Joe Biden should have the Department of Justice on these college campuses and holding the universities accountable for civil rights violations. When you should not have money going to these places. I already acted in Florida. We had a group, Students for Justice of Palestine. They said they are common cause with Hamas. They said, we're not just in solidarity, this is what we are. We deactivated them. We're not going to use state tax dollars to fund jihad. No way. And what is Biden doing? Not only is he not helping the Jewish students who are being persecuted, he is launching an initiative to combat so-called Islamophobia. No, it's the anti-Semitism that's spiraling out of control. Right. That is what we have to confront. And as president, I can tell you this, we are not going to stand for this on college campuses any longer.
I thought that was DeSantis's by far his best response overall. Your thoughts, though?
No, I agree. And that's one of the nice things that DeSantis is able to frequently refer to during the debate stage, is that a lot of the things that candidates on the stage have talked about they will do if they win this or that. In his position, using the executive branch in the state of Florida, he's actually acted on, I think, a number of items, including this. I thought another point of strength is highlighting, bringing home 700 Americans back when the Biden administration had failed to do so, and wanted to charge them for using charter planes and whatnot, getting out of Israel. Another exact example of him being able to point to actual concrete actions that he has taken as governor, where everyone else has rhetoric there. And more importantly, I think this larger dynamic of the extremism within higher education is something that, if anything, I wish the DeSantis campaign had done more to highlight his work on. Is I think taking back the university system has become so toxic, so extreme. The sort of militarism that we're seeing play out on the Palestine issue has been there for a number of issues. This left-wing indoctrination aspect that, if you look at what he's done in New College, if you looked at some of the legislation in terms of tenure reform dealing with some of the extreme professors in the state of Florida and whatnot, I think that's one of the areas where DeSantis stands alone, not only amongst those on the debate stage, but really Republicans governing nationwide. I think that is one of the most important issues in the country right now regarding the future. And that's certainly one of his strongest points, too, in terms of his legislative record.
Yeah, I think that's a really great point. And I wish, like you, that had been highlighted more, and the issues in higher education and parental rights in particular. And to me, one of the big drawbacks to these debates, and why a lot of people think this is kind of just a snooze fest in some ways, other than a couple of these, viral moments, is because it seems so antiquated in terms of the issues and the repetition of talking points and the format of just, your 2-minute responses. And it seems like this is just geared toward, frankly, a much older generation that's used to this type of format, instead of the actual college students who may be voting for the first time even. My younger brother, who is going to be voting in a presidential election for the first time. And so these types of things, I think, and these types of formats, the traditional politician style isn't going to be as effective for the younger generation. And that's where Vivek really shined. And one of the other responses that he had that I thought was absolutely brilliant was his commentary on the economy and millennials feeling like the American dream just isn't attainable for them. This is cut 3.
As a CEO, the economic question is core to my vision and policy prescription for this country. Increase the supply of everything. It's the law of supplies and demand. Increase the supply of energy. That brings down the cost of energy, grows the economy. Drill, frack, burn coal, embrace nuclear. Increase the supply of labor in this country. Stop using our taxpayer money to pay people more to stay at home instead of to go to work. Increase the supply of housing. People don't talk about this one in the Republican Party. The land use restrictions are constricting the supply of housing. That's making housing more expensive for ordinary Americans across this country. So that's the true answer. And I think it takes a CEO in the White House who actually understands this to get this done. Because Americans at home, they know the Bidenomics is a lie. Prices are going up. Interest rates and mortgages to buy your home are going up. But wages have remained flat. That's the hard diagnosis for our economy. And this is about more than just our economy. I say this as a member of my generation. I'm 38 years old. I'm the youngest person ever to run for U.S. president as a Republican. The reason my generation has lost our sense of national pride, in part, is because people in my generation feel like the American dream isn't available to them. And part of the reason why is we burdened them with 4-year college degrees that did not serve their head start on the American dream. People will be more proud of a country if we're all making more money in that country. This is how we revive national pride and our identity, and it will take a CEO in the White House with zero-based budgeting, by the way, to take on the federal debt to get this job done.
Really well said, yet again. And so I think that really resonates to our generation, to millennials and younger who do feel like that, and who haven't purchased homes, who feel like they have to have a 2-income household and have hundreds of thousands of dollars of student debt for degrees that aren't even in their field now of practice. I mean, so many things. It's not just about Bidenomics and the way that Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis approach this. I think that Vivek was really wise in speaking directly to his generation. Absolutely.
And one of the dangers is not only becoming disillusioned with the prospects of the American dream as sort of a national concept, but it's fueling the rejection of capitalism, the rise of socialism, this dynamics of, again, feeling that level of economic hopelessness. Vivek has also talked in past debates about the Fed and inflation and these sort of dynamics. And I think Republicans have done a very poor job in really demonstrating and really trying to appeal to younger voters who kind of particularly on the college loan issue, right? The sort of recourse is to mock people that have large student loan debts, and there's certainly plenty of bad degrees, and there's plenty of examples of let's call it poor choices when it comes to perhaps degree options there. But the reality is that you have a younger generation saturated with debt, not being able to buy homes, not being able to get married, not being able to have those milestones in their life that leads people to start thinking for the future. I mean, the sort of person that never has a child is going to think about the future differently. They're not going to become conservative in a true cultural sense, in the same way that someone who does have skin in the game for future generations. And, when we have this inflationary culture, the one asset that you cannot save is your labor, the time that you spend working at a young age to be able to build up something that you can rely on in the future. That's something that is missing every single day. And the more and more young people that are working paycheck to paycheck at a higher and higher salary level just to get by, it's culturally deforming. It's not just bad economic policy in terms of GDP or consumption or this, that, and the other. It's bad for the culture of the country. It's bad for the spirit of the country. And I think Vivek has done a great job of tapping into that. And he was one of those candidates that has really utilized the podcast circuit, similar to RFK, similar in some ways to the way that Trump changed the campaign game back in 2016 with his long form rallies and the like. Going back to your previous point, this sort of campaign by media soundbite, whether it's the debate stage or whether these quick media hits on Fox News or whatever, that's not the way people are consuming content now. People are consuming longer form. They want thoughtfulness. They want genuineness. And I think Vivek stands alone within the Republican field right now in terms of people that have been able to utilize that, and people that are capable of actually saying something original for an hour, hour and a half, being able to address these real issues. And so I think he's been a welcome addition to the campaign this cycle, and I think he showed that again last night.
I'm speaking with Tho Bishop, who is content director for the Mises Institute. And I think you're absolutely right in terms of utilizing the media, and particularly the social media, that the millennial generation and younger actually watches and consumes. Because the fact that these debates from the RNC are on Fox and NBC, I mean, I don't have cable. I was watching this on Rumble because guess what? The RNC realized that, and I'm 39, but, the younger generation and college students, they're not going to pay for cable. Right now, I'm not paying for cable because I just don't care. And I haven't had cable, for years. And so to at least stream it on Rumble and have that available. But the fact that they're streaming these or they're even holding these on cable news networks instead of, like what Vivek said, have Elon Musk and Joe Rogan, as some of these debate moderators that would actually ask the questions. These are the people that the largest voting bloc, which now is millennials, actually want to hear from. I feel like the Republican Party is just not at all in touch with their biggest voting bloc, even insofar as the platform that they're putting their primary candidates on. And this doesn't really bode well, I don't think, for 2024. And you need candidates like Vivek and also like Donald Trump in 2016, who using social media like Twitter to speak directly. That was a huge plus for his campaign. And I think Vivek has done that really well with earned media. We're already all out of time, and I wanted to get into Nikki Haley, but we'll have to do that another day. Tho Bishop, really appreciate your commentary. And overall, again, my score is Vivek won. I think Ron DeSantis did a great job second, and he is very strong in terms of an actual conservative America First agenda. Nikki Haley is an up-and-comer. I don't really know why. And then Tim Scott and Chris Christie were kind of just like, the potted plants in the corner where it's like, okay, fine, whatever. But nobody really paid attention to much of what they had to say. So that's my opinion, but continue to make it a great day for the Lord. With inflation, the banking world collapse, and everything that Joe Biden is doing not to protect America, you need to make sure to secure your financial health, especially in retirement. And hey, if you're a millennial like me, that actually is sooner than you think. You need to start now, even if you are a millennial or a Gen Zer, to make sure that your financial health is actually healthy when we get to retirement. And Legacy Precious Metals has a revolutionary new online platform that allows you to invest in gold and silver online in real time. In a few easy steps, you can open an account online, select your metals of choice, and choose to have them stored in a vault or shipped right to your door. You'll have access to a dashboard where you can track your portfolio growth in real time anytime. You'll see transparent pricing on each coin and bar, and this puts you in complete control of your money. The platform is free to sign up for. Visit legacypminvestments.com and open your account and see this new investing platform for yourself. Gold hedges against inflation and against a volatile stock market. A truly diversified portfolio isn't just more stocks and bonds, but different asset classes. This brand new platform allows you to make investments in gold and silver, no matter how small or large, with just a few clicks. Visit legacypm.com to get started. You can download the free investor's guide, and you can also call Legacy PM Investments to talk to a portfolio expert to get expert answers to your to customize your personal portfolio. So visit legacypminvestments.com to get started. Tell them that Jenna sent you. My friend Mike Lindell has a passion to help you get the best night's sleep of your life. He didn't stop at the pillow. Mike also created the Giza Dream bed sheets. I have them. I love them. These sheets look and feel great, which means an even better night's sleep, which is crucial for our overall health. Mike found the world's best cotton called Giza. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. Mike's latest deal is the sale of the year. For a limited time, you will receive 50% off the Giza Dream Sheets marketing prices down as low as $29.98, depending on the size. So go to mypillow.com and click on the radio podcast square and use promo code Jenna, Jenna. There, you'll find not only this amazing offer, but also deep discounts on all MyPillow products, including the MyPillow 2.0 mattress topper, MyPillow kitchen towel sets, and so much more. I have all of this. I love it. Everything from MyPillow and also mystore.com. You can use promo code Jenna. So go to mypillow.com, use the promo code Jenna, and also mystore.com. And remember, use the promo code Jenna.